Good morning, friends. It is a lovely day to be here with you today with Journey Home Meditation for this morning sit. We are sitting in the Beside Meditation Hall and Community Healing Space. This is the new offering from the community of folks that participate here at Journey Home, and we have so many hands that have come together to create this space and to be able to hold this morning sit here where we will be working on some breath work, a little bit of contemplation on some of the things that I think affect our lives, and of course we will get into some poetry today. I'm really excited for all of that, and I am very happy to be here this morning. Let's start with just taking a few breaths together. Nice awareness breaths. We don't have to change or shift if we don't want to. We can just breathe and recognize what we're feeling and that we're here in this place and that what we are doing together here can be a sacred thing to share space with others in an intentional, mindful, and lovingly compassionate way. 3 breaths. I do love that pause, that intentional moment. It's just a moment, but it can be huge. It can be a very large difference in how the next interaction will play out. I think that some of my most harmful behaviors have been when I did not stop for a moment. When we get triggered into our defenses, it can be difficult to stop until we feel safe. And sometimes that safety doesn't come, that feeling of safety doesn't come until we have an explosion that lets out and discharges all of these really powerful, strong feelings that we have in our body. And for anyone who's experienced, especially childhood trauma, maybe, but I think, every human obviously has the capacity to experience this, that once we get triggered into our adrenaline and cortisol and our central nervous system is on full guard, it can take a lot to be able to just get to a place of breathing and calm. And that's usually because on a biochemical level, right, in our physiological bodies, what's occurring is the body is flooded with these hormones. And cortisol causes inflammation as a protective measure. So our body floods with cortisol. It goes to our joints and it pads them from injury. And that cortisol streams through us and it causes tension from all of that inflammation. And then adrenaline courses through us, and that gives us this alertness and this energy to be able to fight. And for the body to begin to relax from that, it has to release some other hormones, oxytocin being one of them, that can help to bring down the cortisol levels and reduce the inflammation and give us an overall sense of well-being and calm. This, for a person who has um, an undamaged central nervous system, can happen relatively quickly and in the moment. Somebody gets spooked of something is dangerous. You might hear the rattling in the leaves, and instantly you are on guard looking for a rattlesnake. But then you recognize that it's just the wind moving through some of the leaves, or maybe it's a chipmunk uh, dashing away to hide his score of nuts and seeds, whatever it is. You realize it's not a rattlesnake, and your body instantly releases those hormones. Now, for a person who may have a disrupted central nervous system because of many number of factors, but trauma being one that we've really heard a lot about in recent years, and there's been a lot of study and attention placed onto how, pardon me, how trauma may be affecting the body. That person may take quite a bit longer. And in fact, it takes about 20 minutes for that oxytocin to really start settling. But that only begins to occur once a person has understood that they're in safety. It doesn't just happen. So if you're a person who has a damaged um, relationship to that feeling of safety, it can take much longer. And then compound that with the world that we live in and the way we communicate, how that affects us in that capability. That calm sense of safety only begins when you can settle the mind. And if your mind is telling you, or you are telling it over and over again, that this injustice is occurring or this thing is happening, then you are resetting your clock on calmness. And it goes right back to the beginning. And this happens when we get, let's say that we are driving, and if you are familiar with the Redwood Highway, Highway 199, you are familiar with people driving in very erratic and dangerous and very upsetting ways. This happens. And you might get cut off, or somebody try to pass you with oncoming traffic at, going 110 miles an hour with a school bus stopped down the road ahead of you. And everything in your body triggers, what is this jerk doing? You know, I always liked George Carlin's bit, like when you're driving and you're behind someone who's slow, you're like, come on, jerk, hurry up. When you're the one who's being passed, you're like, where's this jerk going? Everybody else is the jerk when you're driving. But you get cut off by this person, and it's dangerous, and you're triggered into a feeling of unsafety. But then you get to work that day and you tell the first two people you see, can you believe what this guy did? Can you believe this? Oh, it was so upsetting. And then you go onto Facebook and, hey, whoever it is driving the white Ford truck this morning on 199, you nearly killed all of us. And then that resets it. You're so angry. And then you start getting comments, and everybody else is telling you how angry they are that this happened to you. And you just have this constant reinforcement of this experience. And yeah, you can justify that anger. Absolutely. But in doing this, we are pushing back the clock on when we start to feel that calm. It's like starting it over and over. So learning this helped me to understand when I get driven into that place of attack mode, stopping for a moment is one of the most important things that I can do for my own body, for my own health, for my own sense of safety. Pausing. And I would think it's fair to say that we live in a world today that is manufacturing that response. Everywhere we look, someone is reinforcing our anger, reinforcing our unsafety, reinforcing fear, reinforcing otherness, telling us how uncared for we are in this dangerous world. And pausing and taking 3 breaths. That really can be the difference between showing up with love or showing up loaded for bear. So thanks for taking those 3 breaths. And this all kind of goes along. It's not just when you're triggered into anger. You could be triggered into ecstatic joy. You could be triggered into uh, deep sorrow. You could be triggered into uh, a manic curiosity. There's so many ways that we can be in a groove emotionally that is feeding our thoughts and feeding our body. And these aren't good or bad things. Obviously, it's preferable that I want to be triggered into joy. I would prefer that. My ego would prefer that. Who I think I am would prefer that. But at the same time, it is all just ways to experience what love can look like today. And until I can find my foothold in that relationship, I won't know. I won't know that. So I'm very grateful for the practice. And what I was thinking about this morning is as I woke up and I felt the ache in my body from the weekend, lots of movement, lots of work, lots of not resting. Pardon me. See, it's hitting me. I was thinking about what do I have to get out of bed for? Why? Why am I getting out of bed? I woke up, tend to wake up 10 or 15 minutes before my alarm because there might be this internal anxiety that I have that I'm going to miss that alarm, or this internal rebellion against the alarm, this rage against the alarm that I have, that my body will wake up before the alarm does most days. And so I woke up before that and I thought, oh man, I'm just going to change the alarm. I'm going to make it later. I'm already awake, but I'm going to make it later anyway. And then I got to thinking about what is it that I have to do today? Not what's on my schedule, not what my obligations are to this person or that person or this time frame. I know what those things are. But what is it that I need to do when doing those things? And I remembered one of my favorite questions to ask every day. What does love ask of me today? What does love ask of me today? Does love ask me to get out of bed and stretch my body, or does love ask me to get an extra 20 minutes of sleep? In that moment, I don't know. I can only imagine it asked for sleep because that's what I wanted to do. But on a larger scale, what love is asking of me on almost any day is to arrive just as I am, just to arrive. And there's a meditation that Thich Nhat Hanh does. You are breathing in and you are breathing out, and the practice is always to come back to the breath of I am breathing in, I am breathing out. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. But sometimes we're taught to change our mantra so that once we are fully aware of our breath, we can bring our awareness where it needs to be. We can shine the light of awareness, as they say in Plum Village teachings, to focus, to bring our focus and attention to something. And in this case, Thich Nhat Hanh would say, I am coming home. I have arrived. 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 Because it is the act of returning our awareness to that place of safety that is going to help us to arrive fully, to arrive with presence, with love, and with compassion. And that doesn't mean we are discarding what we're feeling or what we're going through. It means that we are arriving with it and with the knowledge of it. I once heard somebody talking about somebody asked the monk, so what do you do at the monastery all day? Like, what is the deal with this? What's the point? And the monk replied, well, we breathe in and we breathe out all day. And the layperson was like, yeah, well, I mean, everybody does that. What's the difference? And the monk said, the difference is that we know we are breathing in and breathing out. And it's funny, it's clever, but it's also this moment of realization of what is that to know that you're breathing in and breathing out? Well, that is to know that you're alive in this moment. That is to know that you are taking and you are giving. That is to know that everything that you are doing is inherently braided into humanity. and humanity is braided into all life, and all life is the form that we know, the form that we see. And to know that you are a part of all of this with each breath, to know that you are here on purpose, to know that you can love on purpose, to know that you can heal on purpose, to know that you have the ability to harm and you have the ability to heal, to know that in each breath. That's a practice worth taking. And that's a gift that you can give when you offer that presence. And I know sitting in front of you, when I know when I'm sitting in front of you that I am you, that you are me. One of the most emotional teachings, that the stories, the parables that I've ever heard comes from Ram Dass, and it comes from the Ramayana. But the way Ram Dass told the story, uh, it's the story of Hanuman and Ram. For those unfamiliar with these stories, these texts, Ram is a figurehead of God, a godhead, in an avatar of God, of Vishnu, in uh, Vaishnava teachings of uh, Sanatana Dharma, Hindu practices. And Hanuman is an avatar as well, but Hanuman is the servant of Ram, but also the best friend of Ram and the confidant of Ram. Uh, and Hanuman is seen. He's called the monkey god. He looks like the body of a monkey. Um, you'd have to learn more about the story to understand that, but that's not important in this story. What's important is to know the relationship between Ram and Hanuman. Hanuman is the servant, he serves, and Ram is God. And they are also best friends. They love each other dearly. An uninterrupted, unconditional love. And they're walking in the garden one day, and Ram says to Hanuman, Hanuman, who am I? And Hanuman, without really even pausing, says, you are everything. You're the most important being. You are beautiful. You are love. You are kindness. You are mercy and strength. You are the moon and the stars and the sun. You are everything. And Ram looks at him and he says, well, Hanuman, if I am everything, then who are you? And Hanuman pauses and he breathes. And he looks at Ram and he said, when I am in my body, when I think that's who I am, when I think I am this body, I serve you. When I think I am my thoughts, I think only of you. When I am my spirit, I fall before you. But when I know who I truly am, when I know who I truly am, I am you. That is what love asks of us today. I am coming home. I am arrived. I am coming home. I am arrived. I am coming home. I am arrived. finish up this morning, I have a poem that when I read it this morning, it really felt like it was answering the question on what does love ask of me today. Um, this is by the poet Ross Gay. It's called The Voice for Gerald Stern, and it's from Ross Gay's book of poetry called Against Which. Against Which. The Voice for Gerald Stern. It's there. On your walk to breakfast from Lombard to Fitzwater, down 10th to avoid the projects, the bony trees, wicked creak and sway, the air a crisp lick to your cheek and neck, it's there. In the waitress's eyes, it's there in your gut, burning, burning. The coal, he called it. We are at its mercy, he said. He who taught you how to wear tenderness like a shawl or a fedora, who taught you a splayed heart worn like a rhino-sized pendant, who taught you cursing and elegance and shouting. It's there in your father's hunched back, his exhausted gait, his hiding, a burning, yes, a burning, not tears. They've burnt up years back, but a rage and a violence, a need to murder and exalt, even your body built for the task, hands long and strong for strangling or prayer. The road crumbling behind you, no turning back, you're locked. And you spit molten ore each day. Each blessed day you glow, you blaze, you burn, you raise. Each day you crack open a rock hard cataract. You see, for once, one new goddamned thing. You see, you fill your lungs, and you scream, and you scream, and you scream. Maybe that's what love asks of us today, to arrive seeing what's there. What is there? The coal, he called it. The burning, burning. Thank you so much, Ross Gay. Ross Gay's poetry has made me feel so connected sometimes. I haven't had another poet. I've had many poets touch these places inside of me. But I haven't had another poet voice that, what he's saying right there, how I can hold all of those seemingly contradictory understandings in one place, like hands, big and strong for strangling or praying. They can do both. And that's what love asks of me today, to figure out what it is I'm going to do with those hands, what it is I'm going to do with this tongue, with this breath, what it is I'm going to do with this one dying moment by moment by moment with you. Thanks for being here this morning. Join us each morning. This week, I will be driving out of town on Friday and will not be able to do a sit. But hopefully, I'll see you each day before then. In the meantime, ask yourself that question. What does love ask of me today? And show up for it. Hariom.